Oh!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another DFU lecture hybrid something series. I don't know. We have not really calling this a series. I don't think this is going to permanently live on the DFU. Once Kelsey's back in full rotation, I'm sure she'll think of something, and Final Fantasy will be out the door. So we will figure out where this will live somewhere. But that being said, we got new information. So far, we've done a couple of these, and you guys have really enjoyed it. We've had some great conversations in the comments. We've talked about Final Fantasy 16. I think we've done 3 episodes on 16 so far. Every time new news comes out, and then we've also talked about 7, I think once, maybe twice. But we are here to talk about a little bit more of 7 and a little bit more, and actually talk about Crisis Core. So we'll start out with Crisis Core, because I don't think you played Crisis Core, right?
Very little of it.
Very little of it. Okay. So
I didn't get hurt.
We know we're getting the remake of Crisis Core. We know that it's supposed to be a quote-unquote faithful remake, which doesn't really make sense because they just recently came out and said that this is going to be the prequel to the remake. And at the end of the original Crisis Core, Zack dies. And as we've seen, Zack is alive in the remake. So, questions? You know?
No. I mean, maybe it's a faithful remake up until the last 40 seconds.
That's what people are saying, and so that's what I was going to get into, is the extended ending. A lot of people think it's going to be an extended ending because they have went through and they put in the money to redo the voices of the same people who do the remake. So it's not just like a patch over. Like, this new graphics, obviously, but they paid for the voice acting, so that makes, then that wallet's a little thicker, right? Buster Blade, their new Buster Sword. They actually changed the Buster Sword from Crisis Core to make it actually look like the Buster Sword that's going to be chronological in the remake. Because the old Buster Sword in the original Crisis Core was different than the Buster Sword in the original game. It actually had a gold plating that went down where the materia slots are, a gold plating that ran down it into the sides. So it's always been like, this is the original game sword, and this is Crisis Core's Buster Blade. And
why were they different?
Fans just went along. No one's ever talked about it, but fans are just like, maybe Cloud made his own, alterations to the Buster Blade.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, they actually went through. It's the same scenes. Went through the same CGI scenes and just cleaned up the Buster Blade to make it look like the one from the fucking remake, which is pretty funny.
There you go.
So there's that.
All worth it.
Exactly. So there's that. We also have a new battle system. Thank God. The battle system in the other one was terrible. I think it's probably one of the only games that I've ever played that doesn't have combos. Like, there's just no combos. It's just slash. So the true definition of a hack and slash, for sure.
I was just reading. Yeah, it seems like you can more fluidly get out of actions.
Exactly. So there's that, which is going to be fantastic. They did keep the, in my opinion, very dumb slot machine system. I didn't really care for that at all, but I did hear that you can skip the cutscenes whenever you get like a, all 3 in the row.
Oh,
because like
that's smart.
That was also rough to sit through. So yeah, new battle system, great. We talked about the potential extended ending. So at the very end of Crisis Core, when Zack goes to die, you actually get to play that out. But it's an unwinnable ending, obviously, because Zack was meant to die. Does that mean that this will be a winnable ending?
Oh.
That's...
Maybe.
Yeah, because, I mean, there are some people who, try to last, be the longest person to last as possible in that. So that's kind of interesting. So, yeah, not too much on Crisis Core. Honestly, not too much on Final Fantasy VII Remake either. But this is the new stuff that's out, so we're here and we're talking about it. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how that Buster Blade actually looks throughout all the cutscenes, because we've only seen a couple snips here and there. But I do understand why they're doing the chronological remake Buster Blade. It makes sense, especially if this is going to be the prequel to the remake. It'll be interesting to see if there is an extended ending that kind of explains a little bit more of the questions, because Nomura officially did come out and say that he wants people to play this before they play Rebirth. So
is that only because he wants your $60?
Well, Nomura's
He wants you to play this because he wants your cash.
I don't think Nomura's the director on this one at all. I think it's somebody completely different.
Yeah.
But he was just like, for people who have questions about Zack, and all this other stuff going on, I think it'd be really smart for people to play this before they play Rebirth. So, there you go. So if you got questions about Zack, play this before you play Rebirth. I'll be playing it before I play Rebirth, so, I mean, it comes out an entire year.
You need to know who Zack is, right? Like,
it's a
feature him heavily.
Whole year before Rebirth comes out, so you got time. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, this will be out this winter. Super fucking excited about it. Don't have a specific date yet, just this winter. So now on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Yes, Rebirth. So great news and maybe not some okay news, depending on how you want to take it. I'm still beside it at the moment. I don't know yet. Great news is no locations are getting cut. Not a single one. All locations will be in. But the beside myself news, the locations are going to be in completely random order. They'll still be on the map where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
They just won't be in the same order as you went through them in the original game. So to me, JoJo, that's random.
Okay. Well, they just made Detour like one place to do a little differently so they can cut it into the third section instead of the second now.
Yeah. Maybe. It will be cool to see what story elements they do, or what story elements is going on to cause them to change that up. Because that's the only thing it is to make things stick a little bit easier and make sense more easier. Or better, should I say. It makes sense better.
It'll just be, they get to Junon or whatever, and Cloud says, I really want to meet Sid now. And they take a straight line to Rocket Town.
That would be crazy, dude. That would be crazy. I'm excited to see Sid, man. I'm excited to see Sid. Yeah. Vincent. Better have Mog. I mean, if we don't get Mog with Kate Sith, I'll be pretty pissed off. Who else have we not seen yet? That's everybody. Yeah, because we got to see Yuffie. So we saw Kate Sith, just no Mog. So, and to be able to play as Red 13. Oh my god.
Yeah. They got to put him in the party right away. I would hope.
That's what they said at the end of the first one whenever it came out. They were like, oh, by the way, nobody get your hopes up. You're not going to be able to play Red 13 in the part 1, but that's just part 1. He'll be a playable character in part 2. It's like, all right, fuck. I got it, though. I mean, it was so close to the end of the game when you get him to, do all the entire body work for that character just to have him in the party for, fucking 10 seconds. I get it.
Yeah, it made sense.
But for me, I'm a Red 13 fan. Like, my number one primary team is Cloud, Tifa, Red 13. So, I was like, fuck. But
so you get everything you want within
the first
beginning of this game, then you don't care anymore.
Yeah, well, I still care. I like everybody. Yeah. I'm still going to use everybody just to try them all out. But, normally, going through, I would play with everybody and level everybody up. But my primary team was for sure those three. 100%. 100%. But, yeah, so there's that. The original was supposed to be 2 games. The original I differ. It was only going to be 2 games instead of the 3 that they're going to come out with. So we've got remake,
when they decided on that.
Rebirth. Well, apparently it was in talks during the first one that the way it was pitched was that it wasn't going to exceed two games. Mm-hmm. And then after the development of the first one, they said this would be a lot better if we did it as 3.
Yeah, so, it's like after we only made Midgar.
After we only did Midgar, yeah. Which, I like the expansion. It's good. It's fucking good.
Yeah, that game was cool as hell.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. So, yeah, so there was only supposed to be 2 games, which is kind of interesting, but I'm glad they're doing 3 because it kind of feels like they're paying tribute to the original as well, since the original's on 3 discs. So that's kind of cool. I'll take that. And with the talks about Crisis Core has sparked through the community asking one question, which was officially answered. We're not necessarily looking into it, but it is on the table. A remake for Dirge of Cerberus, baby. It's coming back!
Yeah.
Vincent's Red Cape is coming back, folks. I hope you're ready for the shooting and tooting and ready and rooting, dude. It's coming
I'd rather
back.
they just make some other dumbass spin-off instead of remaking that. Just
they can't, dude. They can't.
Game or something.
The entire story of Dirge of Cerberus is now chronologically in the remake, thanks to Intergrade. Underground and all that shit, that was all what Dirge of Cerberus is about. It's officially in the remake.
That within the remake, and then spend your development time making something other than Dirge of Cerberus again, probably.
Hey, it could be pretty fucking fire when it comes back, dude.
They probably just have to like really remake that.
Yeah, they did say that. That's what they said. It's not necessarily like
right.
It's not like a thing they're working on because of that. They're kind of playing with the logistics of like it would have to be like completely redone.
Probably have to like farm that one out, like Stranger Paradise.
Yeah, possibly.
Like get a different developer who does
shooter games.
Shooters.
Yeah, true. Game was good though. Like the story was because of certain characters. Like Shell, I think her name was. I couldn't stand her. The chick that the girl that could do all the hacking and shit. She was fucking terrible. She was terrible. I could not stand her as a character. Whenever I was playing World of Final Fantasy, and I saw they put her character in there, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Fucking why?
That was weird. I remember that and being like, who the fuck is this?
I'm from Final Fantasy VII.
Characters. Who's this lady?
Yeah.
What?
So.
That game's good. Make another one of those.
World of Final Fantasy, you like that one?
World of Final Fantasy,
yeah, it was fun.
It was cool. Yeah.
I haven't beaten it yet, but it was fun. What I've played so far, I plan on beating it. It's just I haven't gotten around to it yet. But that game was fun as shit. Yeah, it's a lot of good times. Yeah, man. I don't know. I really want to play 15. I don't know why, but I just really want to play 15. I'm trying to go all the way through, and so I'm trying to take my time to get there. Yeah. I have it. I bought it. It's gonna get played. I just got to get to it.
I like stuff about that game. I don't know. I didn't get to the end of it, but like the vibe of these boys driving around and blasting tunes in their car is fun.
Yeah.
You can play like a radio that's just like from other Final Fantasy games. Pretty great.
Well, it's just that's the only one I haven't beaten yet, or I haven't played yet. So. Out of the entire series. It's every time I talk about Final Fantasy and like 50 gets brought up, it's like, well, I didn't play it, but yeah. I mean, it's not because I didn't want to play it.
The bummer like that didn't get finished, kind of, but like
yeah, for sure.
It's not without merit.
A lot of people shit on it though, dude. A lot of people shit on it.
Yeah, well, it is kind of like a mess in ways.
Doesn't get anywhere near as much hate as fucking 13 does, but
yeah, I really like 13.
I don't think 13's a bad game. I really don't.
I replayed it at the end of last year.
Yeah.
I want to play 13 to find.
Yeah, I own 13, 13.2, and Lightning Returns, which I think is the third version or the third one. I know there's 3. I just love how it came out. I just love how it came out, and everybody was like, 13 was the worst, and Square Enix like, we're doubling down. They're like, 13 still sucks.
Too much money on this.
Now we're going to triple down on it.
To use this engine we made or whatever.
Yeah, true.
Reuse all these models as much as possible.
True. But yeah, so definitely excited. I don't think there's been any new news come out so far on 16, but some of the stuff that we did talk about.
There was a little interview just where, what's his name, Yoshi, whatever, I think, or someone. Oh, is Yoshida? Yeah, the different guy, Yoshida, I think.
Yeah, that's Yoshi P.
Okay. Said the reason it's not a turn-based game is to appeal to younger kids.
Yeah, and people are like all up in arms about that. It's the same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like they already said this before that there's going to be a slower paced version for people who like the more classical style, but it's never going to be turn-based again. Just get over that. It's just not going to happen. Like a lot of people think that they're fucking. It's a sell thing. As a company, you have to adapt. This is what adaptation looks like. They're adapting.
It doesn't seem true, I guess, that like you don't want to play turn-based things because like Pokemon is still a huge deal, and that is extremely just a turn-based RPG.
I mean, like, yes and no, right? Okay. So here's my argument with that. What's more of a household name, Final Fantasy or Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's been like fucking bred into kids' minds. So it's a lot easier to jump on that train, I feel like. To where, like, if you're seeing this brand new game with these level of graphics, I find it hard to believe, like, the Gen Z and shit are going to be like, oh, I'm totally playing this turn-based game. Like, Gen Z is an entire generation of, like, fucking ADHD. Like, they can't, like... Hey,
man, so am I.
They're not... Right, but That's what I'm saying. An entire generation of it that's grown up on like Fortnite and shit. Like it's just not going to happen. It's physically not going to happen, in my opinion. I really don't. And I would rather Square Enix adapt and survive versus we're sticking with the old ways, and then all of a sudden like Final Fantasy dies. That would suck.
Yeah, I don't mind. But it's like Dragon Quest, which is still turn based and does fine for them. Like I don't really mind because there's still outlets for turn based RPG on it. Persona is still turn based and does very well for itself.
Yeah. I mean, I personally feel like classic mode, I don't think was that bad for people who want turn-based. Like, basically, your characters just sit there and block. Yeah, and it's just a little bit slower down, and you get to kind of make your decisions a little bit more quickly, which really, realistically, the whole slowdown clock in Final Fantasy VII, even playing the normal way, was really easy to use. It's not like that was that hard. I mean, fucking, you literally have your controller. You just hit this button right here, and it immediately brings up the menu and goes to the next character in line versus whoever, Cloud or whoever you're on. So it's not like it's that out of the fucking reaches of like this is good enough. So I don't know. I feel like that's just. I don't know. Like I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I love turn-based, but I also don't want to see a game series get bogged down by, in all reality, in my opinion, is a very prehistoric game mechanic.
Yeah, and I don't know, I guess, if it's true or not, because, like, again, like, Persona is taking off more than it ever had before lately. Like Microsoft and the Nintendo both had big announcement trailers. Like we're getting every Persona game, like as big final announcement goes. But you know, there is an audience for turn-based stuff. But you know, Final Fantasy loves action. I mean, not like presentation and style. You know, animation in a way where it makes some sense.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Action. Yeah, I mean, I like the hack and slash aspect. I think that it was a nice addition to be able to go from playing the original 7 to the remake. I loved the battle system. I think the battle system was really clean and smooth.
I don't think 7 remake combines it well. My one concern is like 16 maybe goes too far. Well, yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. Yeah. If 16 is like too much just action and not enough, doesn't feel at all like Final Fantasy, would be a bummer.
Well, where people think that, and where I also personally think that that's not going to be the case, I do think the action is going to be a lot more actiony. Like, watching some of those fight scenes looked like I was watching a Devil May Cry game. Like, fucking Clive is all over the place. But knowing... Devil May Cry is good,
but, like, that's...
Right. But knowing that we're going to have a party, it's going to have to be slowed down. Like, with the... No, they already said that the slow timer's in there.
They?
Yeah, they already said the slow timer was in there. Yeah, give me a second here because I literally just went over this. I think the last fucking DFU I was.
I believe it.
I'm pretty sure that's what I read. I sent the notes to myself here. Let's see here. Party members are there, but AI controlled, and they will rotate as the story progresses. Some characters might not be might be playable for small sections of the story. It was down here. Action mode for action fans, but they can use these accessories. However, the game will show you how to use it in the UI perks. Story mode. Oh, there you go. Story mode with accessories to slow down time, auto combo, and other buffs. So that's what I think they're talking about. Good lord. Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyways, Final Fantasy fans. Sorry, sue me. Anyways, don't sue me. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot going on here. I'm super excited. I like the one note that I saw about what was it? The icon battles. That each icon battle is going to be different based on the icon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they even said like one feels like it's a wrestling match. I'm like, well, that's obviously against Titan. Like, let's fucking be real. It's obviously against Titan. Fucking pick up Ifrit and fucking suplex his ass. Like, oh shit. Oh, dude, I'm excited, dude. I think 16's gonna fucking be great. Our lineup is just nuts, dude. It's such a nutty lineup. I can't believe we're getting so much Final Fantasy that close in a row. Like, I can't remember the last time it's been like that. Like, fuck, it's been a while.
Big gap.
Yeah, huge gap where it was like everybody's just like, well, I hope the next DLC for Final Fantasy 14 is as good as this one was. Oh, great. It was amazing. All right. Well, I hope the next DLC for Final Fantasy 14 is as good as this one was. That's all we had for a while, dude. And then finally the remake came out, and we fucking had something. So, yeah. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see what the remake's going to bring. As I've said multiple times before, and I will say it again. Yes, I love the original. Yes, I want to see as close to a fucking remake to the original as possible. I love a lot of the extending that they've done with like Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. In the original, those were just 3 polygons that had a name, and that was it. And then in the remake, we got to see Jesse's house and hear her backstory and Biggs' backstory about how he bought but helped support the orphanage and shit like that. And Wedge is a crazy cat lady. Like, we got to see all that shit. So... You know, that to me is like what I wanted to see in the remake. This fucking Kingdom Hearts Arbiter of Fate shit not really jiving with me. I don't really care for that part of the game. I don't know. Like, just those big... And I know they're going to come, right? Like, I don't want to make it sound like because it's a big boss, it was my problem. Because you had big bosses in that game. We at some point, we're going to have to fight Diamond Weapon. That motherfucker's huge. Ultima Weapon. That motherfucker's huge. Like... I just, at some point, those are going to come along. It's not necessarily the big aspect of it. Just, like I said, looking at that thing, it looks like it belongs to Kingdom Hearts. Like, it literally looked like a gigantic Heartless. Like, you know, and then, to me, it's like, all right, Nomura, let's fucking chill out, all right? Let's remember what game we're developing at the time. So, that's his shit, dude. He loves those gigantic boss fights. He thinks they're epic as fuck. I'm surprised he's not working on the icon fights on 16. Probably did. And Yoshi P was like, look, dude, Kingdom Hearts needs to stay with Kingdom Hearts. Let me take it.
Yeah, they're definitely like a distinct Yoshi, Final Fantasy 14-esque art style. Sure.
Yeah. I'm just happy that we're about to play the very first, making history here, folks, the very first M-rated main title Final Fantasy. That's fucking dope. When Yoshi P came out, I was like, I do not want to let something as dumb as a rating interrupt the story that I want to tell. I was like, my fucking guy, dude. Let's go, dude. Yoshi's a baller. I'm so excited.
Google is going to say fuck.
Dude, imagine that. And it was crazy because I was talking to Kelsey about this, and I was like, it was so nuts for me to play the remake and all the cussing that happens in the remake. Because for Western audiences, they censored that. But it's like whenever you go back and look at the actual history of Final Fantasy, they've been cussing since day one. There's fucking nudity in some of these fucking games. Like, they didn't give a shit. But for, you know, our sensible asses, they had to fucking, let me dumb it down a little bit. Or sensitive, not sensible. Sensitive asses, let me dumb it down a little bit. So, and that's how the whole Spoony Bard came a fucking thing.
Right, because the original line was, you fucking son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it was. It was either son of a bitch or stupid bastard. It was one or the other.
I think it might have been stupid bastard.
I think it's stupid bastard as well. But yeah, and fucking they just translated it to Spoony Bard, and people just didn't bat an eye at it because they're just like, it is what it is. Fucking translation.
Also it's funny.
Yeah, well, one, it's funny, but it's also like, fucking probably translation error because, I mean, we have Aerith going, this guy are sick and shit like that, you know, in the original. So everybody just thought, all right, it's just translation. It's just something that didn't translate well, so they just made up something on the spot, blah, 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 blah. It's like, wow, dude. And then it's like I go to play the remake, and you got Reno jumping out of the fucking helicopter and landing on the Buster Sword and calling Cloud a bitch. Cloud fucking calling people an asshole. Yeah.
Barrett. That's to...
Yeah, Barrett. I mean, obvious. Yeah, Barrett would be the main person out of the entire game, I think, would cuss. Yeah, he is awesome. I love Barrett so much in that game, dude. Yeah. He kills me whenever you win certain battles. He's just like, da 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 da. I was like, let's go, dude. Barrett's the shit.
They stole that from Final Fantasy 15, actually. Prompto was the same shit.
No shit. Yeah. That's fucking dope. Yeah, I just, like, as I was telling you off camera, I was just going through and beating the remake on the hard version, and whenever you get to that Arbiter of Fate fight, and you're fighting the Little Whispers, there's the part where, like, Barrett and Red 13 go up to higher ground to shoot as you're killing the little ones, to shoot the big one. and the red one turns to go hit him, and then Cloud jumps to hit the red one, and the red one turns around, and they lock swords, and Cloud's just like, bring it, bitch. And I'm just like, fuck, dude, like, this is different, let's go. Yeah. I forgot how hype as fuck that last cutscene is, by the way, in fucking the remake. Holy shit. Whenever the full team shows up, and they're all going against Sephiroth, and then Cloud goes after him, and then that whole, like, fucking on the edge of creation shit, where Cloud starts going, like, super crazy fast and shit. I was like, bruh, yeah. I forgot about this scene, dude. Fuck.
In the Kingdom Hearts bullshit, they did some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. You ain't wrong. So, man, dude, it's like every time I play that game, it just brings up more questions. Like, there's no answers. And then they release new cutscenes, and you're thinking, all right, cool, we're going to get answers. And then it's just even more questions. There's never any answers. Doesn't make any sense. Like when the whole Zack thing, I was like, oh my god. And then we got Intergrade, and everybody played Intergrade. And then we had another Zack scene. I was like, great, finally some answers. And there was even more questions. Not
helpful.
I was like, fuck! I was like, what does this mean?
Why did you even bother? It's informative.
Yeah, there was literally nothing there besides the fact that Aerith wasn't at the church. No shit, we already knew that. Yeah. They kind of left Midgard last game.
It would have been weirder if she was.
Yeah, no shit. That would have been a fucking thrown for a loop right there. Like, how the fuck did this happen? Everybody would have definitely jumped on the whole alternate dimension fucking thing at that.
How wild would it be if he went to the church and he saw her, and then she's like, "Hey, it's me, Aerith."
Oh god, dude. Yes. Oh, I told Kelsey
the American version.
I told Kelsey I wanted that to be one of the first DFU shirts that we made since we got our Dead Funny shirts and shit. I want it to be don't be an heiress. All right, yeah, don't be an heiress and skip out on the DFU. I was like, let's go, dude. Oh god, I still love how there's people still arguing that. Like they're all, I literally see this shit on Reddit all the time. We're all like, it's still heiress, not Aerith, and it's like, bro, that ship is gone. The ship was gone.
It was also never Aerith.
Yeah, it was never ever. It's like fucking literally. Fucking the movie. The movie already canceled that out. Like, it was done when the movie happened. Like, that was it. It was game over. But then it's like, all right, now we have the fucking remake, and they're all like, all right, bro, it's time. It's time you fucking... I mean, and to be fair, for the people who are like diehard, it's Aerith versus Aerith, you're dumb, first off. But second, all of our time is going to come. I can't imagine how much of this game I have pronounced wrong. Just because, one, I was a kid when I first started it, and I just can't stop calling things what I called them when I was younger. Like, for instance, best one. In Zelda, what are the wooden people called? Well, no, hold on. Let me change that, because they've added new wooden people to the later ones. What is the name of the wooden shield you get? The first wooden shield you get?
Okiri.
That's fair. Then what are the name of the nuts? The little flash nuts you throw down?
Deku.
Yeah, all right, Deku. I pronounce it.
Oh, it's a Deku shield, maybe. Too,
I pronounce it. Yeah. In one of the games it was. I pronounced it Deku as a kid. Deku, and I can't stop. But the best part is Deku or Deku.
Yeah.
Is the name of my favorite character in My Hero Academia, and I say that just fine. And it's the same goddamn word. It's the same fucking word. I pronounce it two different ways depending on the fucking situation. If I'm in Zelda, it's Deku.
It differently than that in Breath of the Wild or something. I remember.
I don't remember.
There's somewhere where they pronounce Deku out loud.
Maybe. But I can't imagine. And there's actually a funny little like animated skit I watched where they make fun of that. And it's like Cloud and all of them come together. I think it was like Cloud, Red 13, Tifa, and Sephiroth. And they're all sitting there arguing over like Bahamut versus Buhamut. And Nibelheim, Nabelheim. And there's just like back and forth. Like, there's all this stuff. And I was like, oh my god, dude.
I mean, like,
what did I get wrong? Huh? Oh yeah, will be Ketchi. Exactly.
That is that? How do they pronounce it in Advent Children ever?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because they didn't want to address it.
No, and Dirge of Cerberus, they just call him Reeves.
Oh. Yeah. So then,
Because they know Reeve obviously is the person that controls him. So yeah, it will be interesting if it's Kate Sith or Ketchi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting for sure to see. I mean, I could see it being Ketchi though. I mean, every time that they've had get a voice actor for him, it's been a Scottish guy. So, and that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Scottish lore, Cat She, the
Cat
Loki
She.
of cats. Yep.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, so much of Final Fantasy VII is built off Norse lore.
Yeah.
And then they just were like, let's throw this random fucking Celtic thing in here. Why not?
Right, and
Fuck
there's
it.
all this. It's just like all the summons are just like random ass mythologies.
Yeah, exactly.
Been picked up from other games.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's actually funny, like, how much I let fucking 7, like, influence other games I play. I've been playing a lot of Civ recently. So I picked, is it Sweden? I think it's Sweden. Like, they have, like, the Vikings and shit or whatever is their fucking first, like, the barbarians and stuff that they get. Yeah. I think it's, I don't know if it's Sweden.
Norway?
Norway. There you go. Norway.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking Sweden. Yeah, Norway. And so I've been picking them, and, like, all my fucking cities I name after fucking Midgard, Costa del Sol, all that shit. I do all that.
Costa del Sol, not a Norwegian
Only
name.
I know. Only
not
whenever I actually get a spot like that's on the beach, I'll name it Costa del Sol. Other than that, I'm normally always for some fucking reason starting off in mountains shit. Which, by the way, we downloaded some fucking mods for that recently. I know I'm turning this into a podcast. It's about to end. I promise people. I'm sorry. We turned it into where we did these mods recently, and I've never played with like the natural disasters on. I've never done it before, so we were playing with that on. This was like fucking 2 weeks ago. And I literally settled my first city around a volcano. And so, like, every fucking 20 turns, this thing is erupting and just fucking decimating everything. I was like, bro, I can't even think about fighting anybody else. I'm fucking fighting this goddamn volcano. I was like, how many of my workers do I need to sacrifice this volcano to please it every fucking 20 turns so it doesn't fuck my city up? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bad plan. But it enriches the soil.
Yeah. Well, fuck that, dude. Fuck that nonsense. But anyways, that's the information that I had for Final Fantasy VII Remake, or Rebirth. I'm sorry, Rebirth. Be interesting to see what they call the third one. I really think they missed the mark with calling Crisis Core Reunion. I really think they missed the mark. I think Reunion should have been used for one of the Final Fantasy VII titles, especially since we get to the point where we see all those cloak guys, and that's all they say is Reunion.
Oh, it's 7 retcon.
Retcon.
They've changed Zach's alive.
Jesus Christ. That would be a terrible title.
Well, yes, obviously.
Oh, man. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with. Who fucking knows? But anyways, we're going to go ahead and end it there, folks. Like I said, we'll keep it coming with all the Final Fantasy news as it comes out. When we get a chance to sit down and record it, we'll knock it out, throw it up there for you. Like I said, there's a very good chance this isn't going to live on Tuesdays. When that does change and we do whatever we're going to call this, and at some point I started calling my Final Fantasy news back whenever I was covering the first part of the remake, the Midgard news. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but at some point...
FFVII.
There you go.
That's funny Final Fantasy University.
I don't think Kelsey would sign off on that one.
Okay.
Oh, shit. That's her show, dude. But yeah, no, so like I said, so if this ends up changing another day, I'll definitely let you guys know. Obviously, as news comes, it's great, but you guys seem to like it, and we like talking about it, so it's definitely a nice little outlet. And as it goes along, this becomes something awesome, then we can try to do this for whatever Final Fantasy comes out, because me and JoJo do have a lot of knowledge in this specific game. So not necessarily 7, but in this specific game title, we've played a good amount.
Yeah, right. If you want to talk about theater rhythm, I've did plenty of that.
There you go. Exactly, dude. Exactly. But we're going to go and wrap it up here. If you guys enjoyed this content, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you get notified next time we upload another video. Hit us in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and views. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time.